Welcome back to Droanacharya IAS YouTube channel. I am Dr. Daman Benipal and I'll be presenting you today daily editorial analysis. इस वीडियो लेक्चर में हम आज के इम्पॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल डिस्कस करेंगे जो कि हमारी यूपीएससी प्रिपरेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं. सो लेट्स बिगिन विद टुडेज आर्टिकल. आज का हमारा आर्टिकल जीएस पेपर 2 पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से काफ़ी इम्पॉर्टेंट है. वी कैन रिलेट दिस टॉपिक with our issue of federalism. It is about the integration of Northeast. Now, why are we talking about it? As recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India will be successful when the Northeast develops at par with the other developed states of India. So, from here, the integration of Northeast come as a question. सो थोड़ा और डिटेल में इसकी बात करते हैं. सबसे पहले जानें कि व्हेन वी टॉकिंग अबाउट नॉर्थ ईस्ट इट इंक्लूड्स 8 स्टेट्स एंड ये 8 स्टेट्स इंडिया का 8% लैंड मास कवर करते हैं एंड 4% ऑफ आवर इंडियाज पॉपुलेशन इज प्रेजेंट इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट. नॉर्थ ईस्ट इज वन ऑफ द डाइवर्स कल्चर और ऑफ आवर कंट्री. So when we talk about the integration of Northeast India into the mainstream India, this has been on the national agenda from the very start of the India's journey as an independent nation. This region has always been seen to be somewhat alien and needing assimilation. And this is the reason why. The fact that we are discussing this topic itself gives the answer. सो नॉर्थ ईस्ट की जब हम बात करते हैं सो यहाँ पे 6th शेड्यूल काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. 6th शेड्यूल ऑफ अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दिस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन 1949 एंड इट बेसिकली अप्लाइज फॉर द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ द ट्राइबल एरियाज इन द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स ऑफ आसाम, मेघालय, मिजोरम एंड त्रिपुरा. आप पॉलिटी की क्लासेस में पढ़ते हैं इसके बारे में. 6th शेड्यूल, administration of the tribal areas in the northeastern states of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura, and this goes in accordance with Article 244 of our constitution. 6th schedule in में से कुछ states के ऊपर apply होता है. Apart from this, we also need to mention AFSPA, the Draconian Act, the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA. This was promulgated in 1958. हम AFSPA के इशू को अलग से बहुत बार डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. वी नो दैट ये एक कॉलोनियल एरा का एक लेजिस्लेशन है जिसे इनैक्ट किया गया था ताकि क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट के दौरान जो प्रोटेस्ट हो रहे थे उनको रोका जा सके. The ordinances they were replaced by an act in 1948. ये उस कॉलोनियल एरा का जो एक्ट है ये आज के टाइम पे द प्रेजेंट लॉ दिस इज इफेक्टिव इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट एंड दिस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन 1958. आर्म्ड फोर्सेस स्पेशल पावर एक्ट, it gives powers to the armed forces and also the central armed police forces which are deployed in the disturbed area. There they can open fire, they can even cause death against any person in contravention to the law. Also, it gives them the power to arrest an individual without warrant, just on the basis of reasonable suspicion, and they can search the premises without warrants as well. So, when we talk about the Northeast, AFSPA come into picture because the demand for the revocation of the AFSPA in the past, which was basically, if we look at the PP Jeevan Reddy Committee, they examined its relation to the Northeast in 2005. And even second ARC जो 2007 में आया था, the Administrative Reform Commission, इसमें भी ये कहा गया था that the act must be repealed. They recommended it. So first of all, piece by piece हम इस पिक्चर को क्लियर करते हैं. पहला क्वेश्चन हमारे माइंड में ये आना चाहिए कि भाई हम इस आर्टिकल की बात ही क्यों कर रहे हैं. वाई नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडियन स्टेट्स दे आर कंसिडर्ड एज एन एक्सक्लूडेड एरिया. Why? Then we are talking about the integration of the Northeast as a topic. So here what is important is Mongolian French. This was a term which was used by the British India Foreign Secretary Olaf Koréry. He coined this term in a paper in 1940 as a crown colony. It is a crown colony. British considered leaving this as a combination of hill regions of the northeast and the upper Burma region, the Myanmar region. Because according to Britishers, they were neither racially or historically or culturally or linguistically had any affinity with the rest of the India. So therefore, they treated these areas as excluded or partly excluded areas, in which the large part of the unadministered hills of Assam were included. They were separated from the revenue plains, and there came the concept of inner line. Inner line create किया गया in 1873 the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation. इस inner line के थ्रू जो आसाम के हिली एरियाज थे उनको अनएडमिनिस्टर्ड छोड़ दिया गया, लेकिन जो रेवेन्यू प्लेन्स थे उनको आपस में सेपरेट कर दिया गया. And this was a year before Assam was separated from Bengal as well. And the Assam had a chief, Assam was a chief commissioner's province. इससे भी पहले जब आप हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हो, मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री, तो आप जानते हो कि Assam was annexed into the British Bengal after the first Anglo-Burmese War, 1824 and 1826. And उस टाइम पे ट्रीटी ऑफ यानदाबो होती है, जिसके बाद आसाम ब्रिटिश बंगाल का पार्ट बनता है. So first of all, why did the crown colony plan failed? So British Assam was virtually the entire northeast of today. जब हम ब्रिटिश असम की बात करते हैं तो इसमें पूरा का पूरा नॉर्थ ईस्ट आ जाता है, just excluding two kingdoms of Tripura and Manipur. In kingdoms में भी though there was no inner line that was introduced, but British brought in some similar kind of administrative mechanism. So they separated the excluded hills from the revenue plains. In Tripura, the plains of Chakla Roshanbag, they were annexed to the British Bengal, and the Tripura kings, they were allowed to be landowners, but there were no claim of sovereignty over them. So in Manipur, similarly in the Manipur, the hills and the central revenue plains of the Imphal Valley, they came to be treated as the separate administrative regions in 1907. Ultimately, the crown plan failed. It dropped out on the grounds of administrative feasibility. इस तरह से उन्होंने यहाँ पे divisions की थी. Then how did the states of the northeast came into existence? Again, the sixth schedule is important because the sixth schedule was independent India's first administrative instrument for the undivided Assam's tribal belt. These are the work of the Verrier Elvin. He is a British-born Indian anthropologist. He advocated for the tribals to be encouraged to live by their own genesis, were its inspiration. So this schedule mandated for the formation of autonomous district council, in which among others the tribal customary laws were given legitimacy, which is why the sixth schedule is important. So what followed after sixth schedule? See, when we talk about northeast, and Naga insurgency is very important, because after the sixth schedule was introduced, Naga hills refused the sixth schedule, and they said they would have nothing less than sovereignty. And therefore, a powerful insurgency resulted in its wake, and AFSPA came here and the sweeping powers were given to the army. So as a overture to the pacification, the Naga Hill district was merged with the adjacent Mon and Tusang subdivision of NEFA, the Northeastern Frontier Agency, which is today's Arunachal Pradesh, and a separate state was formed, Nagaland, in 1963. So when we talk about Naga insurgency, it has raged on in different avatars. a peaceful negotiation has been in process from last 25 years, and the hope is that we will culminate this process into a lasting settlement. Other than this, the other states in the region, like in 1972, most of the autonomous regions, they were bifurcated from Assam, like Meghalaya became a state, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram, they were made UTs, and later they were upgraded to the states. 1987 में अरुणाचल और मिजोरम को स्टेट बना दिया जाता है. त्रिपुरा and Manipur, they were part of Part C states after the merger of with India in 1949, and then again in 1972 they were also upgraded to the states. So the national identity, the question of national identity, this remained incompletely resolved. And therefore, over the period of time, the insurgencies, they spawned and they spread over in the state, even in the states like Assam and Manipur. So how did union government accommodate the northeastern states in India? देखिए यहाँ पे, see, India has gained confidence, and also India has shed the insecurities of the further balkanization. Especially because when we talk about India, we had a traumatic experience of partition already. So we have shed out our insecurities, of the balkanization. The outlook towards national identity, nationalism, it underwent moderation. It mostly inclines towards the constitutional definition of these understandings, rather than it being cultural. The national integration also came to be more mainstream broadening to accommodate all the other streams within the national territory. And here, the Northeastern Council is very important because this was founded in 1971 as an advisory body. Initially, इसके members में Northeastern states के governors इसके member थे, and therefore it remained as a ear and eye of the center because they were the member, governors were the member. It originally pledged to make security the primary concern, but in 2002, the act that brought NEC, the Northeastern Council, it was amended. And now from an advisory role, it became an infrastructure planning body for the region. And now Sikkim was also brought into its fold. Significantly, its execution structure expanded to even include the CMs of the state, linking it as an aspiration of the local electorates. This is important. Then we also have donor, we can say. It was, the Northeastern region के लिए especially से यूनियन गवर्नमेंट ने बनाया था in 2001 and 2004, इसे full fledged ministry के तौर पे अपग्रेड कर दिया गया. In 1991, India's Look East policy was born, and in which it was stated that the objective of linking the Northeast with the vibrant economies of the Southeast Asia. Also, in 2010, a protected area regime that had restricted visits to Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram by foreigners, that was also relaxed. And now, if we talk about the role of AFSPA, so there is even a judicial commission which was constituted in 2004, and they also recommended, a way to repeal, or in other words, humanize this AFSPA. So again, why Northeast has been still an issue? देखो, Northeast की जब हम बात करते हैं, तो it has several constraints which ultimately act as a hindrance to the regional development and also for the mainstreaming of the society. Like for example, the historical reasons. अब जब हम British policies देखते हैं, तो Britishers की Northeastern states के लिए जो policy रही है, that is actually disconnecting them from the mainland. And then the partition, because बांग्लादेश पहले इंडिया का पार्ट था, तो इतना कनेक्टिविटी इशू नहीं था, लेकिन पार्टीशन के बाद जब ईस्ट पाकिस्तान बनता है, दैट वाज अ बिग ब्लो फॉर द नॉर्थ ईस्ट एज वेल, बिकॉज दे हैड अ वर्चुअल डिस्कनेक्शन ऑफ द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन फ्रॉम द रेस्ट ऑफ द इंडिया, बिकॉज नाउ इट इज कनेक्टेड थ्रू अ नैरो सिलीगुड़ी कॉरिडोर ओनली. And the natural sea route through the ports of Chittagong, this have restricted their economic activities as well. याद रखिएगा इस चीज़ को कि ईस्ट पाकिस्तान बनने से पहले ऐसा कनेक्टिविटी इशू नहीं था। पोर्ट्स के पास पूरा एक्सेस था, इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी अच्छी थी, लेकिन देन इट वाज रिस्ट्रिक्टेड। इट ऑल्सो हैज़ geographical challenges because see 99% of the region has international border. बांग्लादेश टच करता है, म्यांमार, चाइना, भूटान, तो it creates a lot of complication in the international diplomacy as well. Then apart from this border area, 70% of the region is the forest area, so it makes the economic development difficult. This region is also hosting tribal population. Overwhelming tribal population is present over here. In Assam, 19% tribal population is present, and in Mizoram, 94% of the people are tribals. Border, forest, tribals. Also, this region is predominated by the hills, except for the Assam. So again, it makes it difficult for the utilization of the natural resources. We also have cultural and societal challenges, because as we just said, this region has over 160 scheduled tribes, and then there are so many other tribal and sub-tribal communities and groups as well. So this variation in the culture, this creates an alienation from the mainland and it hinders their development. The region is predominantly rural. 84% of the population there lives in the rural areas. Also, the presence of different ethnicity has made it difficult to cater the demand and the clamoring for recognition of the distinctive identity. However, literacy rate is high, but employability is low. There is high dependency on agriculture, and this has led to low per capita income as well. In our last discussion, we were talking about the importance of per capita income. The different ethnic groups have caused conflicts, insurgency. This has led to tribal rivalry, migration, control over the local resources and so on. बहुत सारे इंटर-ट्राइबल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स भी हुए हैं, जैसे कि कुकीज़ एंड नागाज. वी हैव इंसर्जेंट ग्रुप्स एज वेल, एंड ऑल्सो देर इज रिजेंटमेंट टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. द इकोनॉमी डिपेंड्स अपॉन द पैट्रोनेज ऑफ द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, सो it ultimately results in lack of economic activities. Plus, the deployment of the armed forces has caused a, again psychological resentment in the society. So, what does the future hold? यहाँ पे जब हम वे फॉरवर्ड की बात करते हैं तो लुक ईस्ट to act east is important. So a deal with Bangladesh was also signed, जिसमें एक रेल लिंक बनाया जाएगा between Tripura and Chittagong. So this will speed up the flow of products, especially grains, to that region. Then again, repealing AFSPA, the recent decision of withdrawing AFSPA from the major states like from Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, it is revolutionary. When the AFSPA is withdrawn, it means that the peace has returned to that area. And the protection of culture and unique identity of the tribal group has been given, constitutionally, as well as there is statutory recognition as well. Then there is the issue of connectivity with the rest of the India, because the poor infrastructure, limited connectivity, these are acting like a roadblocks. They hinder the socio-economic development of these states. तो इसके लिए भी बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस किए गए हैं. आई हैव मेंशन्ड दोज प्रोविजंस इन द स्लाइड. त्रिपुरा में एक राजधानी एक्सप्रेस लॉन्च की गई है, त्रिपुरा सुंदरी एक्सप्रेस विच विल मूव फ्रॉम अगरतला टू दिल्ली. कुछ डेवलपमेंटल प्रोजेक्ट्स वहाँ पे इम्फॉल में लगाए गए हैं. एक न्यू टर्मिनल बिल्डिंग बनाई जा रही है इन अगरतला, द महाराजा बीर बिक्रम एयरपोर्ट. सो अ लॉट ऑफ कनेक्टिविटी issues are already being dealt, and we need more such initiatives further. So the plan to build a robust transportation infrastructure in Northeast, it will connect this region with the rest of the country in a seamless manner. So in this way we can even boost the tourism economy of the region. We can ensure that Northeast is no longer treated as an isolated area. So for that, transportation, the infrastructure becomes very, very, very important. So that is all for this video. इस वीडियो के लिए आज इतना ही, जिसमें हमने नॉर्थ ईस्ट की इंटीग्रेशन का थोड़ा हिस्ट्री देखा, थोड़े करंट पॉलिटिकल एंड इकोनॉमिकल फैक्टर्स देखे, जियोग्राफिकल फैक्टर्स देखे. सो दिस वाज ऑल फॉर दिस टुडेज वीडियो. आई विल सी यू ऑल इन माय नेक्स्ट वन. थैंक यू सो मच.